better lessons, more meaningful, more personalized. So let me just see here and just change the light here. I have a ring light in front of me. Is this okay? Can you see me? Well, yeah, okay, cool. Right, let me share my screen with you, and hopefully this will take about 30 minutes. Not much longer. Hello, everyone on Facebook. Can you see me on Facebook? Let me just check if people can see me. And my friends here on Zoom, can you please mute yourself? Thank you. You can keep the webcam on if you want, but just to mute yourself. Okay, I think it's okay. I think they can see me on Facebook. All right, so let's get started. We're going to talk about reflection, and in a more concrete way, because when we read research, when we maybe see other people, other teachers talking about reflective, and this is what I've read during my research, it's really subjective, and this is one of the drawbacks that teachers sometimes complain about. How can how can it be more tangible, and reflection can be more tangible when we collect data, and I'm going to show you how we can collect data in our practice. Okay, this was one of the themes of my MA research 2 years ago. So I'm going to share some of the findings as well, and but in a more practical, just the light here, in a more practical way. Okay, so I hope this is useful to you. Right, let's just look at one definition of reflection. There are different definitions, and this is by Dewey, 1933, almost 100 years ago. But I find it so current. Reflection is something that, sorry, just okay, that is believed in, not on its own account, but through something else which stands as evidence. And this is what I want to highlight. Evidence. We're going to talk about evidence and data a lot here. Okay, so right. And which elements can foster reflection? Data and evidence. Okay, and I'm going to mention a lot of work by Steve Mann and Steve Wash. They have a wonderful book on reflection in education, and I'm going to give you the name later on at the end of this presentation if you want to study further. Okay, and this is one model of reflection by Kolb's. Okay, and it's a cycle, as you can see. There's no beginning and end, but let's say that we'll start here by having a concrete experience, okay, by doing something and having this experience. And I'm talking about teaching, right? Teaching a lesson, okay? Then you have a reflective observation, where you review and you reflect on your previous experience. And then you can have an abstract conceptualization. When you conclude, we are going to talk about reflection in action and reflection on action as well. So this is more about reflection on action, where you reflect after you've had the experience. And then I can hear something, guys. Can you please make sure you mute yourself? I can hear some noise in the background. Please mute yourself. Thank you. And then you can have an active experimentation, planning and trying out what you want to change and what you have learned as well. Okay. So let's see how this can happen in real life. Okay. And effective reflection is some aspects. I want to share some aspects with you. Scaffolding and mentoring are useful in order to develop teachers' reflective abilities. Okay. And when I say mentoring, I'm not just talking about having a mentor, okay, but having a critical friend where you can, you know, where you can share experience and you can rely on each other. So, and you can make reflection more collaborative. It's not something, it works, but when you're sharing this with someone else who has the same objective, the results are far better and more meaningful. So we're going to talk about that, how you can work with another teacher, okay? And if you have, for example, a teacher who is a bit more experienced than you, and where you can share some ideas, some video observations, this will be great. Okay, and we are going to talk about puzzles rather than problems based accounts. For example, when you want to observe something in your own practice, some experts would rather call that moment, that aspect, a puzzle, not a problem, because a problem refers to something negative, right? A puzzle refers to something that you want to investigate. It's not negative nor positive. It's just something you want to investigate. For example, you want to investigate how effective, how clear you give corrective feedback to your students. Okay, so this is a puzzle. This is not a problem. And also there should be a progression and a suitable degree of challenge for you as a teacher to stay motivated, to stay focused. Ideally, there should be a progression, you know, a cycle that you can follow. Okay, so how can you be more reflective? Okay. So it's important to have a detailed understanding of your local context, your students, your teaching context, their needs, because you are the best person to know what your students need and want. Okay, so and it's important to have this understanding, to look within your own practice and understand what they need and what they want. Okay, you also need some tools, yeah, to make it more tangible. Yeah, you're going to need some tools, and I'm going to share some of the tools that you can use for your own reflection. And with these tools, you will collect data from your practice. Okay, another way, as I've mentioned before, for you to become more reflective is having a dialogue with more experienced teachers. Any questions so far? I feel I'm rushing a little bit. Any questions? Let me see the chat. Yeah, what's the difference between evidence and data? They are very similar, Mauro. Good question. They are very similar, but evidence is, let's say evidence, in my understanding, okay, is more, it's broader, okay? Anything that you can observe is evidence. For example, if you have a chat with a teacher, this is some kind of evidence, okay? But when you record that chat via audio or via video, and then you transcribe that chat, this is data. Okay, so I would say that, but this is from my understanding, okay? I would say that data is more specific. It comes from evidence, yeah? Evidence, it can be lots of things, and I'm going to share some of the, some ideas that you can use for evidence, okay? Thanks for your question. Right, okay. Yeah, what kind of data? So audio and video recordings, they are very useful. Okay, if you're teaching online, if you're using Zoom, and I think most of the platforms now, I think you can record the lessons, right? And you know that, I'm not sure if you know, but you know that Zoom can also audio record your lessons. Okay, if you're, I know that some students are a bit hesitant to be in front of camera, they're a bit camera shy or whatever reason, you can still audio record the meeting, the lesson. Okay, and this is evidence. If you don't have, videos are great, I think videos are perfect, but if you cannot have a video, you can still record the audio. Okay. Okay, you can, another kind of data and or evidence, you can get some feedback from a peer, from your friend. Steve Mann and Walsh, they call it a critical friend. I'm not sure if they coined this term, but I like this term, critical friend. So it's a friend that you can rely, but it's not a friend that you expect to hear just positive things, you know, from them. And it's a friend that you can really have, you can expect to get some constructive, honest feedback. So I like this term, critical friend. Okay, another type of data you can use to inform your practice is having a conversation with your students or with your group of students. Have you ever thought about that? I included that because this was one of the, when I was interviewing my participants for my MA research, one of the participants was doing that. He was collecting, was a teacher, he was collecting some video conversations and audio conversations from with his students. So that was amazing. And he would have this talk with the student after a couple of lessons and get feedback from specific lessons. I thought this was great. Guys, can you excuse me just 1 second? Sorry. Okay, so so yeah, why not? Why can't we have this dialogue with our students? Yeah, I think it's a great idea. Of course, we need to think about time, but if you're teaching, I'm thinking about one-to-one teachers. If you're teaching one-to-one, this could be just like a 5-minute chat, you know, 3-minute chat. It doesn't need to be like a therapy session, okay? It's just a quick chat. Okay, another kind of data you can use is your lesson plan, your notes, you know, if you scribble things while you're teaching. This can be also data, okay? And this can help you become more reflective. And if you are using a teacher's diary, this can also be data for your practice, okay? Teacher's diary extract. Okay, I'm going to share with you, and this was my mentee. I mentor a teacher, a wonderful teacher called Karini, and she authorized me to use this video. This is from just a snippet from one of our mentoring sessions. I asked her to record a lesson, and of course she had consent from students as well. This is important, okay? If you're recording a lesson, if you're video recording, if you're audio recording, you need to get formal consent from your students, okay? They need to authorize you to record, so don't forget that. So she recorded this lesson, and we were looking at different teachable moments, okay? And what we did in one of our mentoring sessions is we watched the lesson together, and I was pausing the lesson at different moments to ask her, you know, to get some feedback from her, from Karine. Okay, and I'm going to show you this video. I hope the audio is okay. Tell me if the audio is okay. No? No? It's not, the audio is not working.
No.
Okay, maybe I forgot to share the audio. Just a second. Maybe I forgot. Yeah, I forgot to share. Silly me. Now you will be able to listen. Okay, so.
Thinking about journalism. Ooh, this is great. I thought about journalism once, either. It's great, and it's a big.
So we are watching her lesson. So in the video, she's talking to her student. Okay. Sorry.
I was thinking about journalism. Ooh, this is great. I thought about journalism once, either. It's great, and it's a big change. So I really don't know what will happen in 10 years. Okay. Now I can see your point. Totally and completely. Okay. Okay, and what else? What else do you want to talk? How did you feel here that she couldn't answer the question, but she gave an argument? How did you feel? Well, actually, I felt a bit on a failure because I really wanted her to express herself. And where do you see yourself in failure? Maybe frustrated. No? Frustrated. Okay. You shouldn't feel like a failure, but frustrated. I understand because you wanted her to say something and then.
Right. Okay. So this is the. So can you see what I did? No, you couldn't hear. You couldn't hear, Maurice.
Yes, I can hear. The thing is that it's really difficult to understand when you are talking and when
Okay.
the lesson is going on, you know?
Yeah,
kind of like two different
too many
things
voices.
going at the same. Yeah.
Too many voices. Then let me explain to you. So I paused the video at a moment when her student didn't want to answer the question that she asked. And then I paused at that moment and I asked her, my mentee, how did you feel here? You know, and she said, and my mentee said, Karine said, oh, I felt like a failure. And I said, why? You shouldn't feel like a failure because, you know, she didn't answer the question, maybe frustrated. So we had this conversation, okay? So that's what I'm saying. So we were observing the lesson. I'm the more experienced, the mentor here, but this could be another friend that you have. And when you decide, when you have a focus or what you want to observe, you can pause and have this dialogue while you're watching the lesson. And I didn't watch the whole lesson with her because I know this is very time consuming. So just ask you can ask your friend, or you can tell them, look, I want to look at from minute 5 to minute 10 because this is an important bit. Okay, so you just watch 5 minutes of the lesson. You don't need to watch the whole lesson. Okay, so this is one idea, and this is called stimulated recall. When you basically, this is what it is. Yeah, when you recall, you remember something, yeah, that you did, in this case the lesson, and you have this kind of stimulation, and you have this conversation with the teacher. Okay, so and there are different types of reflection. Reflection in action, okay? Reflection in action is when teachers collect data from their own context, and it's the reflection is happens immediately, sorry. And at the same time that they are, for example, they are watching or they are writing something, Okay, so that's why it's called reflection in action. For this to happen, you need to have this process of inquiry. You need to collect detailed data. That's why video and audio recordings are so powerful, because you have the exact words, the exact event that happened. You don't need to rely on your memory. Okay, oh, what happened yesterday? I don't remember. Okay, it's really difficult when you have to rely on your memory, and you have to, you know, say, even if it's one day after the lesson, for example, I find it really difficult. So when you have the recordings, you don't have this problem. Okay, and another problem of not recording, or not video recording, or not audio recording, is that besides not remembering, we have taking the risk of not remembering what happened. Sometimes you can remember, but just very superficial things, and you don't have this deep understanding of what happened. You cannot watch back and see, like, oh wow, yeah, this is what happened. You know, you don't have this extra pair of eyes that we usually say when you have the videos or the audios. Okay, and what happens is a micro level analysis. Okay, and it's also a combination of theory and practice. And then we're going to talk about reflection, on action. Where's the reflection on action, I think? Sorry, let me see what I did here. Oh God. I think I deleted the slides. Never mind. And this is, present, okay. And just some ideas on how you can actually implement reflection in your busy schedule, okay? As I've said before, you don't need to record your full lesson, okay? Just try to plan the most important moment where you know, perhaps you're going to do some pair work, or you want your student to present something and you're going to give feedback. So you try to record something between 7 to 15 minutes. And then I think this can make your data more manageable to be observed, okay? And it's also important for you to plan for reflection. If you watched my webinar yesterday, I mentioned the reflection bit with our students, remember, at the end of the lesson. So if you plan for that, this will become, this will become part of your teaching routine. It won't be something, it won't be an extra burden for you, okay? So plan for that. And how can you plan for that? For example, you can watch the recording or listen to the audio after the lesson, okay? Again, just 5 minutes during a break, for example, that you have. Okay, and you can watch the recording with your student as a way for them to reflect as well. And this will give you so much information, and I think this would, if you do that, this can inform your practice and help you develop more personalized lessons. So you can watch something that I did with Karini, the teacher. You can do the same or similar, something similar with your student. You can record and find a very specific moment when there are some teachable events there, perhaps giving feedback to your student, or perhaps you are working on emergent language. And then you have this, especially when both of you and the student are working together, you know, you are having a dialogue. So if you record the lesson and then watch back with, you know, with the student, you can do the same. You can pause the reflection, you can pause the video and ask them, why did you answer this? Why, you know, you can, depends on the situation, but you can come up with the different questions for your students, and really listen to them. Don't assume anything. We teachers have this problem of assuming things like, oh, my student won't understand, or oh, this is too difficult. Listen to them, okay? If you think that the lesson was difficult, ask them, did you find the lesson difficult? Oh, yes, a little bit. Why? Which moments did you find it difficult? Which moments did you struggle? Okay, and really listen to them. Let them speak. Okay, and then yeah, prioritize. Start small. Don't try to say, okay, now I'm going to record all my lessons, all my 15 lessons, and you're going to watch 15 lessons every day. No, just start small. Prioritize. Which, for example, if you're having a hard time with one specific student, perhaps you can start with that student, yeah, recording the lessons and collecting data from from those lessons. Okay, and that's it, everyone. The book that I've mentioned is this one. Okay, it's an amazing book. I think every teacher needs to have this book in their library. Reflective practice. Okay, I hope this was useful to you. Can't hear anything. I'm sorry, Miranda. You couldn't hear the video, right? Maybe it was before.
Yeah, I could hear it second time. It's fine.
Yeah, I forgot to share the video. Silly me. Okay, I hope it was useful, everyone. Do you have any questions about that? And I'm going to check on Facebook if there is any question. No,
Who is the book by?
Steve Mann and Steve Wash. Let me just see if there's okay. No questions?
Well, yes. In my case, I always do reflection at the end of the lessons. I think it's really important for them to think about what happened with my teaching and with their experience. The thing is that sometimes I ask them and the answer I get is very vague. So I think that the problem there is knowing what questions to ask.
Exactly.
Right?
I was going to say that. Ask why, what, when, you know, where you require very specific answers. How did you feel? Blah, blah, blah. What was difficult? Or if they cannot come up with anything, give them some options. Was this part difficult? Was this part difficult? When we were doing the role play, was it, you know, yeah, you need to prompt them, because they will be vague. They will say, oh no, teacher, it was okay, it was good. But why was it good? was everything good? So we really need to come up with powerful questions for our students. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Anyone else here does any kind of reflection on your own, or maybe with a teacher, or maybe with a student? Or do you think, if you don't do you think this is manageable now after this webinar? Do you think it's more manageable? Yeah. Okay, great. Okay, everyone, thank you so much. This is it. It was a short session, but because I wanted to be very, very straight to the point. Okay, let me see if there are some questions here in the chat. No. Yeah, you wrote there, Mauro. I think the most difficult part is asking questions. Yes. Yeah. Okay, thanks a lot, everyone. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.